In the discussion for CIST 1510 for Chapter 5, we're looking at creating or taking a website and redesigning it for a mobile viewport. As we see on the screen, it will start with what we have currently. When we look at our website, this is what we will have, and we'll design this for a mobile viewport. So we'll first start off with step one. In this step, we're going to be working with our index, HTML, and our style CSS in this project. A lot of these will be flipping back and forth between those. You'll have some things you'll add to the HTML, then you'll have to go create the style in CSS. So what we're doing is we're creating the CSS where we'll review what viewport you're using, and then we'll load the correct CSS style. Okay, so if we look at for example, I'm using Chrome. If I go to Developer Tools, in here I can look and see how this will look based on different mobile devices. So I want to see how my web page looks like an iPhone 12 Pro, Samsung Galaxy A51, 71. So I can see how this is going to look. My website will be displayed on different browsers. I can also look for different tablets and so forth as well. So we'll start off, first we're going to put our name into our comment section on HTML. We'll have the file name to be index.html, and finally the date. So your next step was then to look at your image or your website in the browser, resize this, and once again you can go to Developer Tools and look at how your website will be displayed in different browsers or different mobile devices. So after we add our name into the comments, our date, and index HTML file name, we're going to add a meta viewport element to this index HTML. It also wants to make sure that we include the content attribute and have the appropriate values. So I'm going to add this after the link to the CSS. So in here, I'm added the meta tag. I've named it to the viewport. I've set my content equal to the width, device width, and the initial scale set to 1.0. So when I refresh my page, see it's now refreshed to where it's a little bit more mobile friendly. And I'm going to leave it on the Galaxy S8 Plus and the iPhone 12 Pro. I'll switch back between those two. So we'll see how these look on this. So let me remove this. And we'll see how this looks without the viewport on the iPhone 12 Pro. So you see how this is being loaded in the iPhone Pro 12, the Galaxy S8. Put this back into my index. So now it's reading it that it should be fit and scaled to a mobile device. And we'll do the check and see how we pass on this. All right, so next we're going to move into the styles CSS. We're going to start creating style rules for our mobile viewport. First, we're going to add a section to where we can put some mobile viewport the rules, we're going to add comments so we know that where the rules start at. As you can see that in our CSS, we have a comment for the CSS reset, the style rules for body and images and so forth. Okay, so we're going to scroll down until we find, first we're going to look for the image style rule, which is located right here. And we're going to add a comment below this. So in this comment, we're going to set up the style rules for the mobile viewport. This is just a comment we're adding. If you were to refresh your view of your mobile device right now, nothing would happen. There would be no changes because comments are not rendered. So then we're going to look for the style rules for the navigation area comment, which is located right underneath where we just added the mobile viewport. And in here, we're going to add a decoration to the navigation unordered list style rule to remove the bullet markers. So located inside of this nav UL, we're going to set our list style type to none. So this will remove the bullets that will be displayed. We're also going to add a decoration in the list item under the nav to display it as an inline block. So we'll set display and we'll set that to inline block. We'll do a check on this and it should pass here, no problem. We'll do an update. See how this looks on our iPhone. You see, we had some little changes there in our Galaxy. All right, so next we're going to look at we've noticed that the font family for the header one, style rule, the main, and the main style rules, they both have decorations. They're going to use custom fonts from Google. Okay, so the problem is that our HTML is not linked to those custom fonts. I have given you this code to copy and paste in on Blackboard. So you do not have to go in and search through the fonts.google.com. As I've already given you this code. Now this link to this fonts is going into your heading section, your head section, excuse me. So we're going to put this right underneath the meta viewport. Go in here, we've got a link and we've got it set to the website. And then we have our relationship to that to be in style sheet. So we'll see some changes here when we update. We'll see some different changes in our heading one. All right, so next we're going to add a class attribute with a value of tablet-desktop to the examples.div. So we're going to look for we're going to look for the div named examples. So we'll scroll through. We see our div, the ID is set to examples. And in here, we're going to add that class of tablet desktop. So we'll just add it in the same tag, in the same bracket. So we've added the class, but we don't have anything set up in our styles yet. So now we're going to go over to our styles, CSS, and in here, we are going to create a rule that's going to hide the tablet desktop class. So we're going to look for the mobile viewport comment, which is located right here. We see that underneath this we have the, we're going to create another comment, the styles to style rule to hide the tablet desktop class. And in there we're going to put in our class. So we put our period tablet dash desktop, then we set our rule to display is set to none. Okay, we're going to go back to the index HTML and we're going to add a class attribute with a value of btn to the paragraph elements number 2, 3, and 4 that are within the main element. Okay, so looking for these, we're going to look for the main element. I found the closing of the main element. So I'm going to scroll back up and find the start of the main is located. So I'm going to add this class attribute to elements 2, 3, and 4 within the main element. So to put a class inside of the open paragraph tag, I am going to type in the word class. Then inside the parentheses, I am going to give it the name. Now I've already got this copied and pasted, ready to paste. So I'm going to paste these in the other elements as well. Both these are now placed inside there. Now I need to go back to my styles CSS. So I'm going to look for the main and paragraph style rule. So this is going to be found in the style rules for main content. So I'll look for the main and the P. And then here I'm going to come underneath this and I'm going to create a new style rule. This is going to be created for the BTN class. So I'm going to start with the the period, and start typing BTN. And inside of my brackets, I'm going to specify the background color value set to this, the padding value of 2%, the top and bottom margin values will be set at 2%, and the left and right margin values will be set to auto. Now, when I'm setting the top and bottom to the same value and the left and right to the same value, I don't have to go in and specify top, left, right, bottom. Okay, so the first value I input will be my top and bottom. The second value will be my left and right. Then I'm going to set the width value to 80%. My text alignment is going to be set to center, and then my border radius is set to 5 pixels. When I type this in, I'll do the background color and set it to the value that's specified. The padding at 2%. Once again, the margins, my top and bottom will be my first number at 2%. The left and right will be set to auto. My width will be set to 80%. I'm doing text align center, and then my border radius at 5 pixels. So we'll run this through the check. We'll look and see how this is now updated. So we see that we have now updated our project. So below this rule, we're now going to add a new style rule for the anchor element within the BTN class. Okay, so this, when we're adding elements within an element, so we only want this applied to the anchor elements that appear in the BTN class. So once again, we're still setting the values, the color value. We're going to remove the underline, set the font size, and then we're going to display the content as a block. I'll put this information in. We'll see the update. Okay, so let's take this back out for just a second. See, this is the area that we are making our changes to. Put this rule back in. Let's see the change take place here. So we've changed the color, the text decoration, the font size, and how we were displaying this image. So going back to the index, now we're going to add a class attribute with a value of corner to the image element. So the image element is located right underneath the paragraphs. So in here we're going to add the class is going to be set to corner. We'll set the class at corner. Now we're going to go back to the style CSS, and we're going to now create a style rule for this. So right under the class BTNA, we're going to create a new style rule for the corner class. So we'll put the dot corner. And we're going to set our border radius to 12. So one of the errors I've made here is I did not define that it was going to be set to the border radius of 12 pixels. Okay, so it's very important that you put these in. As you see now that it has passed. So we'll run this through the update. Okay, so the change will be here in the image. And we see that we've got a little bit of radius on the side of that. Okay, so once you finish this, be sure to cement this, and then go back to Blackboard and complete your discussion part where you research the VW unit of measurement, provide a summary to it, and then also don't forget to reply to 2 of your classmates' posts.